Caterpillar just posted the greatest quarter in its 100-year history, and its free cash flow just collapsed to zero. Watch this.
Caterpillar's free cash flow margin came in at roughly, well, zero for this quarter. A year ago, that same margin was 14.9%.
Now hold that number in your head for a second, because on the exact same day that was reported, Michael Burry, the guy who called the 2008 housing crisis, discovered his first ever short position on the same stock. And that's not the story, that's the tip of the story. Because right now, OpenAI just signed the single largest cloud computing contract in human history with Oracle, $300 billion. That's over 5 years. And Oracle is now the most indebted non-financial company in the entire American bond market. Meanwhile, OpenAI, the customer paying that bill, just burned through $3.7 billion in cash in the first quarter of 2026 alone. And Oracle's credit default swaps, which is basically the insurance the banks buy against Oracle going bust, just spiked to the highest level since October of 2022. Now, none of that is speculation. Every one of those numbers is on tape, on record, filed with regulators, and reported in the financial press over the last few weeks. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this $300 billion deal isn't a story about AI at all. It's the setup for the largest forced monetary pivot the Federal Reserve has ever had to make. And you're going to see exactly why the rails that were quietly built while everyone else was watching the AI show are the ones that catch every dollar of private credit when this thing finally breaks. And why the XRP holders who understand what's happening right now before the pivot lands are the ones who end up on the right side of the reset. So if you're feeling blessed and if you're feeling bullish, comment 777 right now. And if you're going to be the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by commenting amen below. But let's jump straight into it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. Now, if you've been watching my videos on the Federal Reserve, on the Great Reset, on tokenization, you already know the pattern. The old system doesn't collapse in one loud event. It gets slowly starved of oxygen while the new one gets quietly plugged in behind it. And what's happening between Oracle and OpenAI and the Federal Reserve right now is that exact moment that oxygen starts running out. So buckle up.
Hey, real quick before we get into the video, if you've got crypto that's just sitting in your wallet collecting dust and you want to earn some side income from that, then come hang out with us this Saturday for a free 3-day challenge. We'll show you how to earn daily passive yield on the crypto that you already hold. You're not going to sell it. You're not going to lock it up. You're not even going to day trade it. Not a lot of crypto holders are knowledgeable about DeFi or how to do this. And that's the whole point of this free challenge. So by the end, you'll have your first yield position up and earning, stacking a bigger portfolio for whenever the bull run finally shows up. Now, as with anything that's free, you know that we got to put a cap on this. So it's going to be first come, first serve. So if you click the link in the description and you can sign up, then great, there's still spots available. If not, then you're going to have to wait for the next one, which could be a few months from right now, maybe even a year, because we don't do these that often. So hurry up and book your seat fast, and I'll see you on Saturday.
So let me just set the table for you, because if you don't understand the size of what just happened, none of the rest of this will actually make sense. So just listen up.
OpenAI has signed a $300 billion deal with Oracle for cloud computing power, one of the largest such contracts that we've seen. That goes well beyond its current revenue.
$300 billion over 5 years. That's from one customer. Now I want you to understand what that number actually means, because it's generally hard to picture it at first. That's the largest cloud computing contract that has ever been signed on planet Earth. By comparison, Oracle's entire annual revenue right now is around $67 billion. So this one contract from one customer is nearly 5 times the size of Oracle's entire yearly business. And to actually deliver it, Oracle has to build out an insane amount of physical infrastructure. Data centers, power, cooling, chips, buildings, even land. That doesn't come out of Oracle's cash flow. That comes out of the borrowing. And this is where the story starts to get wild. Just listen to the credit specialist explain exactly where Oracle stands right now.
Well, the difference for Oracle is that they've got the most amount of debt out of any non-financial issuer in the high-grade corporate market. They've got $100 billion of debt. And they're spending a lot
The most amount of debt of any non-financial issuer. Just let that sit in for a second. Not the most in tech, not the most among software companies. The most amount of debt of any non-financial issuer in the entire United States high-grade corporate bond market. More than any car company, more than any energy company, more than any retailer. About $100 billion of debt already on the books. And they just issued another $18 billion in public bonds a few weeks ago to fund even more of this build. And on top of that, they're quietly syndicating another $38 billion in private credit off balance sheets to fund it even more. So the biggest cloud deal in history is being paid for with the biggest corporate debt pile in the American bond market. Which brings us to the second part of the story, the customer, the $300 billion. That's what Oracle expects to be paid over 5 years to build this thing. But OpenAI, the customer paying that bill, is nowhere near able to pay it. In the first quarter of 2026 alone, OpenAI burned $3.7 billion in cash. That's against about $5.7 billion in revenue in the same quarter, which means the company lost about 65 cents on every dollar it took in. It gets crazier. OpenAI has told its own investors it doesn't expect to be cash flow positive until roughly 2030. Their own projections say the annual burn will hit $25 billion this year and $57 billion next year. Now let's just listen to Sam Altman himself on tape describing where the company actually is.
I think we will say, man, we wish that people had invested more earlier and built out more infrastructure earlier.
We wish that people invested more earlier and built more infrastructure earlier. The CEO of OpenAI isn't saying we're done spending. He's saying we should have started sooner and spent more. Now put those two things next to each other. Oracle's $100 billion in debt, building out the largest data center project ever seen. OpenAI is losing 65 cents on the dollar asking for more compute. And they're the two counterparties in the biggest cloud deal in history. Now this isn't an investment. This is what's called vendor financing. And if that phrase sounds familiar, it's because there's a very famous investor who's just started publicly betting his own money against this exact pattern. Watch this.
Michael Burry, the investor who famously called the 2008 housing crisis, disclosed his first ever short position against Caterpillar. His entry price was $1,060.98 a share, right near the stock's all-time high. Whoa. His stated reason, this AI-driven rally looked like, in his own words, an overinflated value bubble.
That's Michael Burry, the same guy from the Big Short movie, the same guy who called the 2008 housing crisis when nobody else on Wall Street would touch it. And what he's telling you here is critical. The pattern of a company financing its own customers so those customers can afford the product they're supposed to be buying with real money. And in that AI space right now, this pattern isn't isolated to Oracle. It's showing up in the yellow generators too. Caterpillar's own free cash flow just collapsed from about 15 cents on every dollar last year, all the way down to zero this year. Because Caterpillar is now lending its customers the money to buy the generators they need to power the data centers Oracle is building for AI, who can't afford to pay for any of it out of real revenue yet. Every single link in that chain is being funded by somebody else's balance sheet. And that's the exact structure that Michael Burry is now sure. Not because AI is fake, because the financing is circular. Now here's what most crypto channels stop the story. They tell you the AI bubble is coming, the Fed will print, buy XRP. But I'm not going to insult your intelligence like that. I'm going to show you what the credit market is already doing in real time right now. And that tells you the professionals have already made up their mind. Just listen closely to this next one, because this is the number nobody is talking about outside of a very small corner of the bond desk.
The price of 5-year credit default swaps on the company's debt rose to the highest since October of 2022. It amounts to around $119,000 for every $10 million of principal protected.
That's the exact same level of credit stress the market priced in during October of 2022. That was the peak of the Fed's aggressive rate hiking cycle. That was when everybody thought the entire economy was about to break. And that was the credit market at its most stress in more than a decade. And Oracle's credit default swaps are back to that same level right now in 2026, with the S&P 500 sitting at all-time highs, meaning the banks that can lend to Oracle are quietly buying more assurance against Oracle going bust than they have at any point since the large major credit scare. Now here's what Oracle said back on the earnings call that most people missed entirely.
Oracle was very clear last night. They said it without being asked. We are committed to our investment grade ratings.
They said it without being asked. I want you to sit with that for a second. Nobody asked. And they still went out of their way to reassure the market that they're not going to slip into junk bond status. That's not confidence. That's the sound of a company that knows exactly what the credit market is pricing in and is trying to head it off in front of the shareholders. Moody's already downgraded them once when they issued that $18 billion bond. Fitch followed. Both raters flagged the amount of cash being used for share buybacks and dividends instead of debt reduction. Every professional in that room can see the picture forming. And that picture is what forces the Federal Reserve's hand. Now, before I show you exactly how the Fed gets forced into this pivot and what happens next, I have to stop and be brutally honest with you. And listen to me carefully, because everything I've just walked you through, the $300 billion deal, the $100 billion in Oracle debt, Sam Altman on tape asking for more compute, and Michael Burry's first ever Caterpillar short, credit default swaps back to 22 levels, none of it matters in your money isn't positioned before the Fed actually pivots. Because all the time I've been in crypto, I've never seen it set up this clean. The credit market is already telling you what happens next. The equity market hasn't caught up yet. That gap between what the professionals know and what the retail crowd knows is where the money is made. And that's exactly why we built our private intelligence network. Because inside the network, the research team is already tracking Oracle's free cash flow, Oracle's credit default swap spreads, and Burry's disclosed positions every single week. Members get that data before it ever reaches the channel. And we also show you how to turn the crypto you already hold into income producing positions. So your portfolio is generating yield while you wait for the pivot to actually land, up, down, or even sideways. We run weekly live trading and technical analysis coaching, so when the Fed decision does hit the wire, entries and exits stop being guesses. And every member gets walked through self-custody and security setup. Because when the credit stress hits the mainstream, the last thing you want is your bag sitting on an exchange. So click the link in the description that is marked to join the private intelligence network. If it makes sense, book a short call with an expert on my team. We'll look at where you are and tell you straight whether this fits. And if the calendar is full when you try to book, it just means we're at capacity right now. Check back in 24 to 48 hours. Please understand, crypto carries risk and past performance doesn't guarantee future results. This is education, not financial advice. Now let's get back to the Fed, because here's what actually forces their hand. The AI infrastructure build out isn't just some sector story anymore. Listen to what one of the strategists on tape called out this week.
You know, they're saying like 80% of GDP growth has been because of data center building.
80% of the entire United States gross domestic product growth right now is coming from data center constructions. If Oracle's build cracks, if the OpenAI cash burn scares off the next round of investors, if the credit spreads on Oracle bonds keep widening, that entire 80% of GDP growth comes with it. The Fed can't let that happen. They physically can't allow the largest single driver of American economic growth to seize up on their watch, which means when the stress finally cracks through into the public markets, they're going to have to do exactly what they always do. They're going to cut rates and inject liquidity into the system to stop the contagion. And that's the moment when the setup completes. Because the second the Fed pivots to save the AI vendors, the dollar loses another leg down. And every professional allocator on Wall Street looks at their bond books and asks the same question the credit desks are already whispering. If the plumbing under the world's largest technology contract is this fragile, what's our capital actually settled on? And that question is the pivot. Because that's when the money that has been trapped in this AI vendor financing circle starts looking for infrastructure that doesn't need a hyperscale to keep borrowing to survive. So let me just bring this all together for you. Three things converged in the same window, and none of them happened by accident. First, the deal, the largest cloud contract in history between the most indebted non-financial company in America and a startup burning $3.7 billion a quarter. Circular financing at a scale nobody has ever attempted before. Second, the warning. Michael Burry's first ever short on Caterpillar. Credit default swaps on Oracle at levels not seen since October 2022. Moody's and Fitch downgrades, Oracle publicly reassuring the market it will stay investment grade without being asked. Every professional in the room already knows. And third, the trap. 80% of American GDP growth is now tied to the exact infrastructure that's being funded by this circular financing. The Federal Reserve doesn't have the option to let it break, which means the pivot isn't a question of if, it's a question of when. And on the other side of that pivot, sitting inside every serious institutional pilot that has run in the last 24 months, is a tokenized settlement layer that doesn't require Larry Ellison to keep borrowing to survive. MasterCard, JP Morgan, and Ondo already ran tokenized US Treasury settlement on the XRP ledger. Ripple already owns Hayden Road, the institutional brokerage plugged directly into the same rails. The DTCC is already integrating tokenized settlement into the plumbing that clears every stock trade in America. The rails were built this entire time everyone was watching the AI show. And that's what that title means. The $300 billion deal isn't the crypto story, it's the setup. And the Fed's response to it is the trigger. So here's where that leaves us. Right now, you're standing on the edge of a bridge. On one side, the old system is being propped up by $300 billion circular contracts, banks buying credit protection they can't really hedge, and a Federal Reserve that will have to print to save it all. And on the other side, the new system is already being tested by the same institutions that built the old one, on rails that were designed exactly for this moment. The question is which side of the bridge you're standing on when the Fed finally has to make the move. See, now most of you watching this are going to close the video and go right back to refreshing the chart. And that's fine. We're not trying to reach everyone. We only work with a handful of serious investors each month. Now, the difference between the investors who are positioned before the Fed pivot and the ones who find out after the headline hits, it isn't luck. It's having a system before the pivot and not after. That's what we build inside the Private Intelligence Network. We map your portfolio. We turn the asset you already hold into income producing positions. We track exactly what's happening with Oracle-OpenAI, the credit market, and the Fed every single day before it reaches this channel. The team are ready, and now it's your turn. Click the link in the description with Private Intelligence Network. Watch the free training. If it resonates, book a call with the team. They'll look at your portfolio and tell you straight whether you can help. Now, crypto carries risk, and past performance doesn't guarantee future results. This is education, not financial advice. Comment 777 if you're feeling blessed. Comment amen if this one connected the dots for you. And also subscribe if you want to be the first to know when the Fed finally makes the pivot. I'll see you at the top. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish. Peace.
Bull Runners, it's official. From October 2nd through the 4th, for the first time ever, we're bringing the Bull Runners community together in person here at the Fontainebleau for the first ever Altcoin Pro Summit in Miami Beach. And this is not just another crypto event in a random hotel ballroom. This is a full weekend experience for crypto investors that are serious about their network, serious about the markets, and serious about putting themselves in the right room with the right people before the next major move in the market. Picture yourself walking into the Fontainebleau on a Friday night. We've chosen one of the world's most iconic destinations for the first Altcoin Pro Summit ever. Private beach access, legendary poolscape, oceanfront views, world-class restaurants, Miami Beach energy. Friday night starts with a networking mixer. You're meeting the Bull Runners creators, the Altcoin Pro research team, and hundreds of other investors who are just as locked in as you are. And if you're a VIP, drinks are covered all night. Saturday and Sunday is the main event. 2 days focused on the strategies serious investors care about right now. How to generate passive income from your crypto. How to keep your crypto safe and secure so you don't get scammed. And how to get into altcoin opportunities early before anyone ever knows about them. So much more. Then Saturday night, VIPs are headed to the penthouse. Private access, open bar, and high-level conversations overlooking Miami Beach. And after the speaker sessions on Sunday, we have a private sunset yacht experience for the Accelerator Program members. Then the VIPs are headed back to the penthouse to close out the event in style. And keep in mind, despite having over 800,000 followers across all social media platforms, we only have room for 500 investors because the goal is proximity, real access, real conversations, real connections. Once those 500 tickets are gone, they're gone. Years from right now, you were either gonna say you were in that room or you're watching it happen from the sidelines. October 2nd through the 4th, Fontainebleau, Miami Beach. Get your ticket now.